SK Telecom T1, it is innovation. Ever so scary a player across the board at the moment, dismantling every single race. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have his good old rival, and it is Zest here for KT Rolster.
They don't seem to stand that far apart, you know, from one another in everything, really. Earning-wise, Innovation is at $285,000 carrier earnings. Zest 222. You know, that's, I guess, a sizable amount, but not that far apart. In this case, score-wise, Zest is 6-3.
Oh, okay. So
ahead. Yeah, he won 6 series and lost only 3 against Innovation, and he's 14-10 in maps. So again, not really that far apart. And the last time that they played, it was less than 2 months ago. They played once in Pro League and then in GSL. The first time it was Zest that was able to win. And then in GSL, when they played, Innovation won. And he said something very interesting in the post-match interview where he explained that after losing to Zest initially, his coach explained to him that he needs to play very differently against Zest. So the next time that they played in GSL, Innovation played totally differently. He mixed it up a lot of different builds. He was actually the one who played with the fast drilling class and Widow Mine drops and used it very well. Like, he wrecked Zest when he used that.
A little bit better than we saw Fantasy trying to use it in our previous series, that's for sure.
So if we were to see that again, I think it'd be a lot more refined from somebody like Innovation.
Yeah. Don't forget, of course, to join the conversation on Twitter and hashtag either Innovation or hashtag Zest, and send us in who you think is going to be winning this series throughout as well. Don't forget to hashtag WCS during all of that at StarCraft, as we want to know exactly what you guys are going to be thinking out here for all of these series. One thing's for sure is that you know, a lot of people looking at Innovation and doing very, very well here, but Zest is cannonball, really.
Yeah.
He's always been able to, you know, kind of have these wins come out in very, very powerful proceeding as well.
Innovation, though, is riding some incredible momentum coming off a GSL victory in which he not just beat Zest in quarterfinals, but then he went on to beat Maru and Bill, which is pretty insane in itself. So definitely has that going for him. Zest at the same time, though, he's always been a little bit of, I guess a lot in this case even, of a Protoss versus Terran specialist. You know, we remember a lot of his games at the Intel Extreme Masters Toronto or even in the Korean leagues where he did very well versus Terran with his own style, which usually is blink into Colossus with the third base, sometimes earlier than on some other maps.
Already this Twilight Council's hidden in a position that's going to be a bit harder for Innovation to actually scout out. Noticeably in the main base of Zest, the pylon has been thrown down so that a Reaper, if it were to have come along, wouldn't have been able to jump up, so it would have been harder to scout. But at the same time, those 3 Marines in the bush that was already pointed out here do pose a bit of a threat to this Stalker, and it actually could take a lot of damage already. And that was great movement there by Innovation, really catching that off just as it goes through. Ooh, barely misses the kill.
That was a very expensive scout here, and I think Zest, he wanted to fly across the map here and with his Mothership Core and going to the main of Innovation, but if the Marines had been moving forward to try and attack him, then he would have been in danger. So now he has to fly all the way back, and he saw absolutely nothing in the base of Innovation. He has no idea what's going on. But having seen the amount of Marines, I'm guessing he must know that there's most likely, you know, some kind of quick command center and a lot of Marines being pumped out right now.
And Innovation, he's really just covering his bases at the moment. Missile turret's already going down, so he's doesn't have too much information about his opponent on the other side, but at least that missile turret going down means that he does have a bit of insurance policy against either an Oracle flying in. The Marines are going to be situated up towards the top so that they can deal with it there. And also, if it was haphazardly Dark Templars, the missile turret at the front could spot it for a moment, I suppose.
Zest, he said something very interesting in his interview, that he basically needs to play pretty safe and he's gonna be all right. And against the style of Innovation, to be honest, it might not be one of the worst things to do. Innovation is just so solid against cheese that I think if you just try to take it, you know, to a 3-base situation, maybe try to take a little bit of a quicker third base and then you hold on against his attacks, you're gonna be okay. By the way, super nice move, I think, here by Innovation, that is natural with the double depot here. I think to block in any kind of potential warp in from the high ground that you have around that third base. A little bit lower than this, yes.
Yeah.
If really Protoss gets a pylon up there, then they can warp in, but with this depot, not. That's really nice to see something like this.
Yeah, really cool foresight. It's the same kind of thing as what we have for the pylon over on the other side from that we were pointing out before. Yeah. From Zest to
Which Zest actually, he was one of the first guys to do this on almost every map. A second pylon in a great location to spot any kind of Reaper.
All right, well, he already does spot some of this bio moving out towards the front. And he's actually even going to loop back to confirm the size of that bio force.
Taking down the rocks here is great for Zest because it's going to buy him more time to make sure he can reach that first Colossus that's coming up now.
An innovation. Moving forwards here, Gabaz bumped into it. He's going to start bringing it down. He understands that Zest does want to try and buy as much time as possible. Doesn't quite see the Stalker count on the other side. This Bioforce would technically have no problem against those Stalkers.
This is actually a very scary timing here. There is so much bio here for innovation. And the first Colossus is not out just yet. That Nexus, though, is going to be finished soon. Zest needs to buy some time to then have the Photon Overcharge to defend. I think Innovation's timing was aimed at killing this Nexus here.
And he's actually steaming up for this as well. The Blink is on cooldown at the moment, so it's a little bit scary. Photon Overcharge has already been used. He's chasing them all the way past this. But because Blink is... Oh, look, he's separated off some of the Marauders. This is a great little move. He's going to be able to guarantee a lot of Stalker kills.
Yeah, he's coming... Actually, from the other side as well, with more and more Marines.
You got to blink over them. You got to do something. Are we off cooldown? There we go. Just trying to get out as quickly as possible, but still the Marines persist and they chase. This is not what Zest wanted at all, but at least he's bought time for the Colossi to
and
get
behind his innovations, going for barracks number 4, barracks number 5 as well. He hasn't started the third command center yet. He's about to here on location at the third base, but not the worst of trades here for innovation. I thought this would go a lot worse for him.
And the Photon Overcharge being forced out that early at that location means that this Mothership Core is going to have to bank up a little more energy. It's not the biggest of deals, but if Innovation were to start launching tank attacks on multiple angles, it could hurt, especially with the Medivacs now out.
Yeah, that's such a huge chunk of bio here that he's got with the first 2 Medivacs and 2 more on the way. Innovation is going to look to apply as much pressure as he can. You can't let Zest get away with such a quick third Nexus, because then he's going to build up his economy like a madman. You see actually 3 gateways being added on here already from our Protoss player. And if you let Zest just do whatever he wants for a few minutes, it's going to be so hard. Zest, usually in this situation, he gets 3 Colossi and then goes into Immortals. And after the initial blink, he goes into Charge, High Templars with Storm, and I guess just masses on Charge loss on the ground with enough High Templars to deal with anything.
Well, this Twilight Council's pretty much done for, unless he is actually able to rally over there quickly. Not enough. Whoa, the blink forwards. Doesn't manage to get
that supply block is pretty big actually, because the third base is about to be on the siege.
He could get the Colossi, he could get both of these. That's a great little move in. No units to really reinforce it, just a few force fields. And that is a brilliant snipe there for Innovation.
That's such a huge mistake here for Zest. He had seen how much of the army of innovation there were there.
Oh my, he's all over him.
One pylon was getting sniped there. He saw how big the army was.
There you go, GG, as easy as that. Innovation takes game number 1. And when you are a Protoss separating yourself across 3 bases like that, you have to have the perfect army split against that kind of pressure from Innovation.
I mean, at this point, he wasn't even 3 yet. He was just the main that was being attacked. He dispatched way too much army there. And then when that supply block hit, he hadn't anticipated it was going to hit this quick, because the pylon dies very fast. So then he couldn't produce more army. Maybe one more round of warp-in with his Colossi at the third base, and he would have been okay against this attack. But now he didn't have that. He didn't react quickly enough with the overcharge and force fields, and he just loses 2 very important Colossi. And that's an almost unrecoverable position here from there.
Tough stuff there for Zest indeed. Innovation shows that, well, Innovation does what he does. That was quite brutal, to say the least, once he gets really going. And that was just the gears starting to turn, really. That wasn't even like him looking for a killing blow or anything like that. That was just some pressure from the bottom and then towards the top as well.
The last time these two play on Terraform, actually, Innovation played so differently. He went for a regular Reaper opener with a reactor, and then dropped a very quick third command center in his main. Zest was able to sneak a Zealot in, and then he saw what was up, and then he just blinked Stalker all in and killed Innovation. So Innovation this time probably thought, what's the best thing I can do if he's going to expect something similar? Went for a much greedier build, lots of bio, and then just won pretty easily. And now we're going to head into Moonlight Madness.
Wow.
A map where I think if Zest was to go for his usual style, it'd be alright. But again, these drops in the mid game or to late game are going to be so hard to deal with, because the natural is so far away from the third base.
Yeah, it can be hard to traverse all of that location and get over there with your army, or even separate it up well enough to then start dealing with those kinds of drops once they do start hitting, especially since we know Innovation is oh so good at doing that. And right now, he made that first game look like child's play. Zest has to really turn it up now to keep himself in this best of 5.
He made it look like robots play.
Yeah, basically.
That's what it is. That's his nickname, the Machine.
It was
You know, it's funny
quite scary.
because I heard he doesn't even mind this nickname. You know, like
Oh,
Harstem
really?
and Parting, they're always posting photos of Innovation and they're like the machine. Apparently, he doesn't even care. Like, he knows that they do that. He might even like it.
I bet he does. I think it's quite a flattering nickname, to be honest with you, given the kind of level that he plays at and the precision that he plays at. But for now, game number 2 on the way here. Moonlight Madness, we're down to the bottom left-hand corner. It is our blue Terran representing SKT1. It is Innovation. Doing what Innovation does. And then up to the top right-hand corner, representing KT Rolster, it is Zest.
Doing what Zest does, looking handsome and playing Protoss, but not winning actually in map number 1.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
No, I didn't mean that he usually doesn't win. Usually he wins. That's the one that is not doing as well here today so far. Really struggled in map number 1. That's very worrying actually, because it's not like it was a surprise attack. He had a pylon above his third base that spotted the entire chunk of army that Innovation was going to throw at him. So he saw how much there was, but somehow didn't get ready.
It's always a treat not only to get to watch like this level of caliber of players play against each other, but even just when you get to see SKT versus KT as well. Just watching these two teams go up against each other, always fun. And they always have some great games. Zest at the moment, you know, that wasn't exactly the best of his games. That was warm-up territory really for him. Now let's see if he can really open up the taps.
It's the eternal rivalry, man. And SKT, actually, they've got such a huge Terran history with having guys like, you know, in Broadwar Boxer, I Love OV, that didn't particularly persist at first in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
But then nowadays, like, they've got such strong Terrans in Innovation and Dream. This is actually insane.
Yeah, they do. Dream here as well. Looking forward to watching him play later on. But for now, Reaper's going to be on the way here for Innovation, as he's already sent out his first SCV scout to kind of forewarn exactly what's going to be going on over the side of this map. And
is Innovation going to stop mining gas at 50? Yeah, looks like. He's just going to want to go for a reactor, command center here behind this.
Complete.
It's a best of 5, remember, so being up 1-0, it also allows him to try something a little bit riskier. If you wanted to say something like a very quick third command center here, could make sense. But at the same time, last time he tried that against S, he lost the map.
And Zest has already took a lot of precautions there against just that SCV alone. Brought 2 of the probes down to not only combat its position, but also one of the probes was sticking around at the top of the ramp, just in case Innovation got particularly greedy and was like, well, if I throw down a bunker and you cancelled that Zealot to go for the Nexus, and then this could have been a bit annoying for you with the Reaper on the way. But
really nice little move by Zest, I think, to go around with his probes, barely dodge that Reaper and find his way across the map.
Yeah.
Because now he's going to be able to scout that Innovation stopped mining gas, went for 1 more barracks. He's actually not going for a 3rd one here just yet. It looks like he's just going to be the 2 here at first.
All right, well, at least his probie gets in and sees what's going on, sees the extra 2 barracks going down. And Zest's got some good information there at least.